Hello, everybody. Welcome back to RaBBois. I'm Tzvi, joined here with my amazing brother Yitz, who just joined me in the top button unbuttoned club. What the hell is that you have back there?
I finally got the signs. I finally got the original sign from the basement. I went to our parents' basement.
Okay, first, no. I'm going to stop right there. No one gave you permission to take that sign from the original spot. No, you actually ruined everything. But because that was iconic. I slapped it on the wall in the first episode.
I totally ruined it.
You ruined it. It was gonna be there like forever. And then we do our reunion at like our thousandth episode, and we'd go back there where it all started. And now I can't. You piece.
I totally ruined the value. The value went down.
So what's going on? Why is there like a vacuum? And why are my signs on there?
Well, first of all, I went to the basement to get our table because I'm borrowing it for a while.
The podcast table?
Yeah.
What are you using the table for, if you can say? Your kids? What do they need a table for? You already have a table.
No, to work. It's like because it goes very low. And you know how that table is super low?
Yeah, so that they can see us man spread. No, it was a great addition to the podcast.
So I just need it. I need it for like the next week while they're home before camp. So I figured. So while I was down there, I saw the sign. I'm like, you know what? Oh, perfect. I'll take the sign. So I snatched it. First, I had to fight off your ghost. But after
my demons do live in that basement, yeah,
after I fought off your demon,
yeah,
they were guarding it, and then they afterwards it's like Harry Potter.
Did you feel like depressed going down there? Did you feel like the energies of?
It was actually kind of weird because I'm like, you're not here.
Yeah, I know, but I was there. My demons were there. They were.
I know, and then you know, like when they beat the serpent, then everything gets quiet, and then they allow you to pass. So that's what it felt like.
You can pass, yeah.
And then I grabbed it, and then as I left, they quickly closed off again, you know.
I love that you kept the tape. The original pieces of tape are still on
there.
There. You reused it. But why?
And then I attached my sign. Every new location we go to, which shouldn't be many more.
No, it shouldn't.
I think I'm here for a while.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just add another sign. And just keep going.
Yeah, like a double-decker and then eventually triple-decker sign, but like why on the vacuum specifically?
Oh, why?
Yeah.
The dumb answer is because this is where I keep my vacuum in my office.
Okay.
It's off the main room, and I usually move it, but I was a little rushed, so I just kept it.
Yes, there's a wall behind you. There's a wall right there where you could put the signs on, and you why? And you chose to put it on the vacuum. Your screen went black and you ruined my show.
I hit my webcam. I'm sorry.
Stop. This guy. No, you know what? I'm going at this for a second. Why? Every single time. Okay, I hear my echo now. Wait, do I? No, I think we're good. Okay. Every single time I give you advice on what camera should I get, what microphone I should get, he gets the crappier version for no reason because he's cheap, and literally I give you the versions that it's going to be perfect with. Show them your microphone. Show them that's not a Blue Yeti. That's a brown orangutan. This is what I told him to get, and that's what he got.
It's Zeal Sound.
What the hell is a Zeal Sound?
It has a lot of good reviews on Amazon, and it was like $40 cheaper.
People pay for good reviews on Amazon. That's how stores work. I told you to get this mic because the plugins I have to make the mic sound good through this mic, and now it's going through that mic, and that's why his mic sounds worse, by the way. It would sound just like mine if you just listened to me.
I think it's good for the
okay. And by the way,
you're the clean cut you're like the clean cut content creator. I'm like a little bit schleppy.
Yeah, the schleppy lawyer.
A little
brother.
bit disheveled.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Saul Goodman. Okay.
It's my vacuum. I do vacuum though.
Huh? I don't care. Could you now? You said you wanted to expand more on last week on the topic of yeshiva and stuff like that.
Yeah, whenever I talk about yeshiva, it always gets my brain rolling.
Yeah,
and I was thinking, well, we talked about in general yeshiva how we liked the parts where
Jewish high school for those that are new and stuff. Yeah,
Jewish high school where it's like if you're dedicated, then it's going to be good for you. And those who complain is because they don't want to do the system. Well, they don't have to be in the system if they don't like it. The issue is where I was thinking, why do people hate the yeshiva high school system? And there's a valid point to it, and I'm starting to realize it now. As much as I loved it, and the reason that it didn't bother me was we did English high school.
Yeah, we probably should have mentioned that last episode. Yeah, we kind of left that part out.
A lot of First of all, most Jewish high schools get regular diplomas,
Yes.
but the more intense ones, like the ones we went to,
The Chabad sect.
a lot of them don't.
Majority, yeah.
They're a majority. Some do,
Some
but
do.
a majority of them is just learning Jewish topics all day, every day. Because what do you mean? You're
Because
supposed
we're
to be learning
Jews,
all
and
day.
that's great, and it's good to learn. Yeah.
It's good
totally.
because we believe learning is the key. Like learning Torah, learning the Bible, and learning all the offshoots of that is what
It's
can lead to
epic, and
success.
it's what the Lord would want.
Exactly.
For sure.
So, but it's also setting a foundation for the future. If you want to be a religious Jew, learn all the laws and have it as a foundation, as a core for the future. And the only way to do that is to learn it, which I get. But the issue is, however, our parents knew that we're going to go through the system, and they knew that if we actually want to be, be able to get a job,
Successful in life, then you need a diploma.
we need a diploma. So we mentioned it before. We did online high school at the same time we're doing Jewish high school,
Which is freaking hard. Well, it's easy,
crazy.
but it's hard, right? And let's get into that for a second, because high school is 4 years, but yeshiva is only 3 years. So we had to do 4 years of school in only 3 years, and we only had a limited amount of time to do it because we'd go home during the day. We wouldn't do a couple classes, like Jewish classes, and in those few hours, that's when we do like 5 high school classes. And
yeah, we had to take extra classes, and we had to keep our GPA high because they don't graduate you early if your GPA is low. But the truth is, it wasn't such a high bar. But
yeah, what I learned is that low key, like public school is like really easy. Maybe.
Yeah,
And
I hate to say it because people struggle. But
yeah, they do.
We're
I struggled also sometimes.
We went to like only Jewish schools, and bro, they're intense. Okay, Jewish schools are intense. You learn for the sake of learning, not even the information. Most of it's like, okay, so you learn literally. You spend all day learning Gemara, which is
the Talmud, which
is the precursor. It's a precursor.
How to think. It was law before law. I mean,
it's not even the actual law. It's how they came to the law.
No, like law school. I meant like it was like how you think in law school before law school.
Correct.
It existed, you know.
Like you go. It's very similar to law school, where it's like you learn all these like concepts, but then like you start practicing. It's like no, but here's the actual law. Like, what do you mean? I went through the whole law school, and they didn't teach me any of Ohio's laws. Like, yeah, you'll learn that later. Okay. But here's like the concepts. So that's the same idea. You're spending years learning the concepts of Judaism, and then like for an hour a day, they give you actual Jewish laws, like for an hour, and like you barely learn them.
Yeah.
You're exhausted. You're like, you can't turn on a light on the Sabbath, and you can't like. It's like okay.
So during you would go home we would have certain hours to do it. You would do it.
We didn't finish. My point is that
okay.
So we were like, our brains were fried, but then we'd go to just regular public school, and they're like, "What's 1 + 1?"
No, okay, we shouldn't be that demeaning, because, Okay.
I'm being a little bit confused.
We're talking about Ohio online school, right?
Correct.
Let's give some context.
The writing classes were hard. The history classes were hard.
Writing was easy for me. I mean,
writing. I hated writing.
I hated things I wasn't interested in, right? Math is technically not complicated. It's just memorizing patterns, the functions and whatever. But I just had no interest, so I don't like learning things I have no interest in, so I just didn't learn it. So I cheat. It's very easy to cheat on online school. That was also why it was very easy.
The reason I make fun of math is because they wanted me to take pre-calculus because we have to do so many courses. They need to come up with courses for you because we have to do a bunch really fast. So they said, oh, well, you finished algebra and algebra 2. So you must do pre-calculus. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I'm pretty smart. But I looked one look at it. I was like, no way in hell I'm doing this for a year. So then I said, give me another math class. And they're like, why don't you do what was it called? Practical math. That was the course. And it was actually low-key very, very practical. It taught me how to do taxes and like.
Oh, that's good.
No, it did.
I learned that in business class. I had an elective or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, but when I say 1 +, it went from either doing pre-calculus to literally. Okay, like if you had like 1 apple for $1 and you have $2 on you, how many apples can you get?
You didn't know
it was practical math, and for some reason it was on a very low grade, even though it was technically my senior year because they had to give me a course. So it was low-key hilarious. But the other classes, I mean, just from a purely like using your head standpoint, It was much easier than the Jewish classes we took because it was just.
It's
You
mainly
go through
memorizing and knowing
Yeah.
things versus having to think deeply. You don't have to think too deeply, is what I learned for those classes. It's mainly memorizing information.
Yeah, you go through the module, and then the quiz is exactly on the module. See, in the Jewish classes, it's like you learn, it's like you're like learning, and then you like learn this piece.
It's like, why
this
did he
page.
say that? And
Yeah, it's
but
like
maybe
tell us
he
what
did
he
say
was
that.
thinking. It's
You
like, what do you
know?
think he was thinking behind it? It's like, what do you mean? It's like it doesn't say that anywhere in the page. It's like, yeah, but you should understand from his argument what he probably was thinking about.
The
It's
Talmud
like,
is hard
what?
to learn, and half of the Talmud is literally like finding hidden words that don't exist and like making sense of like everything that's going on. But the extra class that I had to take was it was like, or maybe it was an elective. It was like a video game class. I was like, oh, I play video games. This should be fun. This should be the funnest thing in the world. And it ended up being coding. I was like, oh, coding could still be pretty fun. I did coding when I was in 6th grade. It was the most boring, complicated thing. And they gave me, I had to program code on Unity, which is a software to develop games on. And I thought it was going to be fun. I spent like 3 hours just to make this stupid rocket model like shoot up. And if you get one thing wrong, it fails. And it doesn't tell you what's wrong. So that wasn't fun. But you did it. Yeah, what?
Yeah, so what I was getting to was, so a lot of kids who go to these high schools, their parents, I'm not going to say, I don't want to say any intense words, but they're really, really taught that they think that, like life's going to really work out if they just don't do any English classes.
God is on your side, buddy.
God, which I believe, eventually it will, because God is on your side.
Yes,
but you
he
also,
is.
in my opinion, here's my hot take to all the really religious people out there, you have to make a vessel for the things you want in life.
I like
okay,
that.
so sometimes,
Kabbalistic.
which even our rabbis say, sometimes that means, yes, you're going to have to get English education and do English courses and maybe even get a degree. Like not everyone could do the Jewish things. Like there's not enough room.
How dare this guy educate us with his basic knowledge?
But then you have kids go to the school, and then they don't learn a word. They don't have a They don't have an English education. They don't have a diploma. They don't have a degree, and they don't even necessarily want to be so religious. And then
the main issue is that some of these guys are actually they're smart. Like they're actually smart guys who just didn't learn it.
And then you pop them out the other end of the system, and they're just like, how do I get a job? Like it says I need a bachelor.
Go make money. Like boom. You're like, he's like, I'm a bachelor. Like, where's my money? Like, where's my money?
Well, the main issue is that, and then they, like, in the Jewish system, like, you pretty much get married right after you're done college. Like, you're 22, 23, and like,
it's like, you finished learning your book all day. Go get married and figure out how to make money.
yeah, go support a family.
Some
By the
could
way,
do
while
that,
you're at
by
it,
the way.
while
Some
you're at
could.
it, have kids, go have kids.
Yeah.
And figure it out.
Go have a bunch of
Figure it
kids. Because kids bring blessings.
That's right, kids
That's
bring
great.
blessing.
They do.
Every
Lots
kid
of
brings a
blessings.
blessing.
Yep, every kid.
With every kid, the bread for how much they need to survive comes with it from God.
Yeah, I would hope
Anyways,
so.
so I do feel that a lot of kids, a lot of guys who leave the system, I sympathize with them because they literally don't have anything. They can't even get. You could get a degree, which I did get. I got a degree from our yeshiva. I did. If you know what you're doing, but no one teaches anyone anything. So a lot of guys have like 2 years maybe of credits, and they don't even have a normal degree. And now they need to get married, or they want to. Either they want. Usually they want to get married, and then they go date, and they say like, "So what do you do for a living?" Like what? Imagine the guy who does what he. Imagine the guy who does what do you do for a living? Goes to like a bunch of Chabad Bachim. Hey, what do you do for a living? It's like, I sell Amazon real.
Yeah, there you go.
I work at a warehouse. I'm like dabbling in real estate. I kind of like maybe have.
The thing is, though, a lot of these guys, some do find success, right? But people that don't have that entrepreneurial type of mind will usually end up being kind of screwed. A lot will get a GED.
Correct. No, guys make the best of it. Guys do make the best of it, but in terms of the standard, what the parents want. So the parents say do all the religious things, and then by the way, also get married. But not to my daughter because you don't have a normal degree. It's like what?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Like what? Like what do you talk about? Like you literally are like you're the one who told me, not like the actual parent, but like the people.
The system told me, and now the system wants something else, which they told me not to get.
It's a major problem.
It's kind of funny because like I don't use my degree. I don't have a degree. My diploma. in any way you see, because you're able to find it. Still, though, I'm probably gonna make my kids, get an education.
Do it.
But so going back to like before, we did it during the day, but we did it at different time periods though, because it was actually harder for you in certain ways. So by the time it was my turn, our parents like shifted the schedule. What time did you go home to take your online school? And like how much time did you have?
How much time did I have? It was 7 to 10 p.m. That's when we did it.
You had 3 hours?
Yeah.
That was nothing. Oh, that's nothing. Oh my God. Wait,
What?
You had from dinner till bedtime, quote unquote.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
But dinner was like before 7, I thought.
So maybe it's like 6:40, no? If I'm literally remembering to the actual. I mean, it was many years ago. It was 6:40.
So you had a little over 3 hours.
Yeah. Why is that? Would you have more? You had more than me.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know.
We need a little bit more time to type the letters in the computer.
Okay, listen, and I've said this before. We've talked about this, I think, a while back. But so you were at nighttime, but you were also missing like a certain class, which like a Chabad specific type of class, philosophy, I guess. Philosophy. Which so our parents wanted me to have that also. They also thought that'd be better to have more time for the school. Not because I'm an idiot, but because it was hard for you. Only had 3 hours, so I had it from lunch to dinner, and then I'd come back by dinner or after dinner. And it was supposed to be like, so like you come back after you leave after lunch, and you come back before dinner. That way you could socialize with the friends and in the environment. And I was like, oh. Yeah, I'm not doing that. And I left before lunch and I arrived after dinner, which gave me like 5 hours or something. Oh my God, maybe 5.5.
It was good.
It was great, and that's how I started my first YouTube channel when I finished
GPA.
Because I finished my classes in like an hour on the average day. So they were bad.
Yeah.
I cheat. Oh my gosh, yo, you know Brainly? Do you know Brainly?
I've heard of it. I mean,
Brainly,
it's like a bunch of these websites.
Yahoo Answers. Oh my gosh,
sometimes they purposely give you wrong answers just to mess with you.
That happened to me once. I got pissed. Here's the thing, though. You can cheat all you want, but you still have to know your answers at the end of the year, right? Because you have to go to a building to take the exams. And I might have mentioned this a while back also, but so I'm like cheating the whole year. I'm good at writing English, so like I was fine with that class. History, like I know history, it's just knowing stuff. But math and science was like you gotta actually
forget about it.
You gotta learn that. The science exam, like my second year, I passed it by 2 questions, 2 points. I passed it solely guessing and common knowledge. That is the only thing I did not.
Well, when they got to chemical reactions, that stuff is complicated.
It's just math at that point. I mean, but they made a multiple choice. The math exam, I didn't even have the opportunity to use my savvy guessing skills because you had to fill in blanks. There's no cheating on that.
Oh, really?
I'm saying there's no way you could possibly get out of it.
You're like holding a crayon. You're like 1.
Okay. Okay. Because here's the thing. I could learn math, but I was cheating since freshman year, and thankfully I didn't have a math exam till my senior year. So when you don't learn in the first year, you're not going to know anything the second year because you didn't learn anything the first year, and it builds on top of each other. So I failed that test. It was the only exam that I failed. I had an A in math, by the way, but I failed, obviously, the final exam. And
oh yeah, you did fail. I remember this story.
And then COVID happened, and they're like, well, you can't take it again, so we'll just pass you. More of the story is cheat on your tests. It saves the day. It's the best.
And then make a worldwide pandemic. Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
All it took was a worldwide pandemic to make me graduate high school.
I know, it's crazy.
But a win is a win.
That's all it took.
And I also remember that while I was doing high school, half my class, I don't know if you had this, but majority of my class literally had zero clue that I was doing it till freaking halfway through the year.
I didn't know that. My friends knew I was doing it.
Some kids I told, but because I would do it during the prime of the day, right? Which is pretty much all the students go kind of separate ways, during the second Talmud class after lunch, and the classes later. Everyone's so honestly, it's information overload. You're learning so much crap that you just go to the next class. You don't even notice. So like when I told them, yeah, I'm not even there for like half the day, they're like, oh my God. I remember there's this one kid who because our mom would pick me up, right, to from school. So I remember I was talking to someone about that, and he was like, would you like would people make fun of you for that, like your mom picking you up from high school? Funny. And it's you're the only mom that's getting picked because everyone's from out of town. So I was like, in the beginning, no, I was like, surprisingly enough, my school had like no bullies for some weird reason. We were all low key pretty chill.
Oh yeah.
And like they'd go over to me and they'd be like, hey, Tzvi, your mom's outside. And I'll be like, oh, okay. And it was just sort of that until this one time where this kid was like, over the course of a week, he kept on saying, oh, Tzvi's mommy's here, every single time that she'd pick me up. And literally, I think one day I just lost it and I like,
bro, yeah, that's so classic, like teenage religious guy. There's like no reason to lose it except for your hormones.
I don't lose it. Like I'm pretty I'm pretty good with my emotions. But like I never pick any fights. But every day he's like, oh, your mom's picking you up, and I was like, yeah, and you're jealous that your mom doesn't pick you up. I know it is. You're homesick. And I gave a whole rundown. This kid, like, he's like, I don't. He did it for a week, okay? Like, he kept on doing it every day, because he was jealous his mommy didn't get to pick him up.
The things that bother you when you're freaking 14. He got sent
to boarding school in Ohio, and his mom doesn't get to pick him up to bring him home to freaking do school or whatever the hell. And then, like, I said some crap about, like, he wouldn't be here without his, like, wealthy family letting him into the school. And, a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah,
Bro, but, you went a little too far.
Huh? Oh, no. No, but, like, sometimes you have to do that in order to just get them to never bother you again. That's true. You got to stand up eventually, and...
By the way, the thing about our English education was, so, like, it's frowned upon.
Yes.
Where we're from.
Yeah, how dare you do education?
You're doing English, and right. You're not as cool and religious as us.
Yeah.
And two things to say about it.
5 years later,
Now they're like, 5 years later, they're like, maybe I should have actually like gone like a diploma,
Yeah.
And then the second thing was we have these gatherings, these Jewish gatherings, where it's like basically a heart to heart. We talk about things to improve yourself, like become a better person. So they always use it against us to be like, so Tzvi, you guys do English, like you're not like the hardcore religious guys. And the thing was, the thing was that the people in charge of the school, they would let us do it because after like, I don't know if we should allow it, like you're gonna allow us to do it. Thank you. You're gonna allow us to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like eventually, like, okay, fine, but I don't like it. But then they'd use it as bait the whole year, and they loved it. They loved it. They'd be like, oh, we're gonna do a gathering. Like, let's make fun of Yitz again, and let's make fun of how successful he's going to be. That should be hilarious.
He's going to be a loser, successful lawyer. What a nerd, But
they hated it. They like hold it against us, but then use it as like fuel for their like speeches. So I'd be like, you can't have it both ways. Either you don't like it, and you never talk about it.
Were you responsive though? Like, because I was pretty like I was pretty.
You were way more responsive than I was. There's nothing to respond to. They're like, oh, Yitz. He's getting a diploma and he's gonna want to go to college and get a degree. I'd be like, yeah. Loser. I'd be like, okay.
Did you have
I will be sponsoring? You will be calling me up in a few years asking for a donation. So
yeah, exactly. BS. So stupid. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, like, did you? Because I didn't have this issue when I was in school, but did your high school, like when you were there, was there like a bullying issue there? Would fights like break out?
Yes, there were. It was actually really bad.
Because I never had that, thankfully.
After my year, I think they took a lot of precaution to make sure it didn't happen again. I think they're still kind of like trying to figure it out. I was only there the earlier years. It was bad. It got bad. There was some bad.
You were there the ghetto years. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. It was something else. It got more professional when I was there.
Yeah. So it was bad. It was basically like one or two kids. It wasn't like everyone. It was a few kids pretty much bullying each other. Like, you know how it works. It's like, it's not like one guy's getting picked on. It's one guy like does something nuts to one guy, then one guy hurts the other guy back and goes, "Why are you hurting me?" Like, and that's always how it is. In our high school, it's never like an innocent party. Everyone's always bothering everyone else. But the problem is that one always does more and is worse, and then it gets like, "Hey, bro, you gotta calm down."
Was there like a moment that like stood out?
Oh, the answer is yes, but it's slipping my mind. There was a certain point where there's a certain point that someone put someone in a chokehold.
That happens with no. That was my story that I think I told a few weeks ago.
Well, there's a different one.
Where the chef put the dude in a headlock.
No, this is different. It was between kids. They were fighting, so then one person put another kid in a chokehold, and it was on camera, and it was a whole scene, like, because like 2 classes were witnessing it, and everyone's yelling. You know how it is.
And then no one's stopping, you know.
And then, like, the person who took the video of it, the problem is that the teachers want to see the video, but they're worried that if they got the video that the kid get kicked out. But the way it works in our high school is that even though the kid who's getting choked out doesn't want the kid to get kicked out because, okay, it's over, it's good, we're good, right? So they don't want them to get the video, but the problem is the teachers found out about it, and they wanted the video. So then, like, the kid was, like, running around with his SD card. And then, like, they told me to hold on to it because they knew I probably wouldn't get caught with it because I was a goody two-shoes. But he gave it to me in front of the principal. So then, literally, as I was leaving, I was like, I don't want to do this, but, like, whatever. They were freaking out. They said, like, we're going to get kicked out of school. I'm like, okay, I'll hold on to it, like, although I don't want to do this for you. And the second the principal came over to me, he was like, hand it over. I know you have it. I was like, I'm not fighting. Like, okay. And then, like, even if I fought, like, I wouldn't have won. They knew I had it. So I gave it over, and then it was dumb.
You're a snitch.
I was not a snitch.
What are you talking about?
He was a terrible accomplice. He literally gave it to me in front of a teacher. Oh. And then, like, it was literally 2 minutes later they came over to me and said, I know you have it. They were hoping they wouldn't come over to me. No, they're hoping they wouldn't come over to me because they know I'm a good kid. They're just hoping it wouldn't happen. They told me, like, hand it over. Like, you got to hand it over. Like, you're not leaving.
You don't have to do anything. Wow, you did not stand up for yourself against the ops.
I'm not going to do that because we know the teachers. We're also, like, community members. Like, I'm not going to get in a fight with them. Right. Like, I'm not going to get in a fight with these guys. So I wasn't, like, I told the guys that I'm not fighting. Like I don't do this.
If you told them before, like, if they ask, I'm going to give it to them, then I guess it's a little different.
No, I said, they're like, no, don't worry, they're not going to ask you. I'm like, I'm telling you, whatever.
Right, yeah, some of these guys are idiots.
Yeah, and then, ask you. Anyway, so then the teachers saw it, and it's dumb. I mean, the whole thing is dumb. The whole thing was dumb. But that was, like, the boiling point, and then afterwards, they were like, it's not happening again. Like, we're separating these kids. They can't, separating them, their rooms and whatever. Mm-hmm. And basically a no tolerance policy after that.
It's interesting that you mentioned about, like, someone giving you an SD card because when I was I want to take a sec to appreciate that segue because that's how a segue's done. I didn't even get to finish it. No, just listen. No, just here. Because when
you ruined it.
Huh? It was so good while I was doing it that I wanted to call it out and ruin it. But because when I was in school, obviously everyone you weren't allowed to have smartphones, right? But kids like listen to music, so they let you have an MP3 player. I'm glad this is great right here. You're allowed to have an MP3 player, but the staff had to check it to make sure that there's only kosher, quote unquote, music on there, and there couldn't be a radio on it. And if there was a radio on it, they had people who knew how to dissect it and take out the radio with their tweezers. Now,
and they'd super glue the SD card.
Yes, and I remember, or it wasn't allowed to have an SD card slot.
So they would super glue it. And then you'd have kids like dig it out.
Some kids, when I was there, they let you have an SD card for a bit. Then eventually they said you can't have an SD card slot because you could put your own music in it. So
yes, if you're wondering, yes, the schools are very strict.
I have eventually, and I don't know if I've said this, but because I'd go home every day, one kid one day asked me because I had a bunch of stuff in my MP3. Just podcasting and like random music that was still Jewish music but wouldn't qualify as kosher in their standards for whatever reason because it's not like to the highest standard. So one kid went over me and he's like, I was talking to him about it. I was like, yeah, I got it on my MP3. I'm crazy like that. And he's like, how do you do that? And I'm like, I live here. And he's like, can you do it on mine? And I'm like, if you pay me, quote allegedly.
Really?
I'm like, no, it was more like, I mean, I'll do it once,
How
then I
I
hit
had-
him. No,
I
let
had-
me finish this. It's a
Yeah,
good
finish.
thing. It's a good thing. And then he comes back again. He's like, I want more. And I'm like, this is gonna cost you, right? He comes over to me, gives me like what, $3. I didn't care how much it was. I just wanted something to buy my soda from the vending machine. Then eventually, like, word starts to like slip out.
Yeah.
Like no, not to staff, other students. So then another guy comes over to me and he's
Yeah,
like,
I know that's the problem.
And he's
that's
like,
the problem.
I heard you, and I'm like, I was essentially Walter White, and no, obviously, and I was filling up these guys' SD cards, giving it back. We were literally handing bags to each other, but instead of crystal meth, it was SD cards with not so kosher music on it, which in society standards would be considered the most kosher music of all time because of how songs are now.
Yeah, they're like very strict.
And then eventually, but I closed it down once I saw things were getting sus, and
You shut it down before the feds were honing in on you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I had a no tolerance policy. That was my policy. Our brother was like that too, where I was like, no, just no, because I knew once I started, then it would never end. That was the only time that stupid SD card with the stupid video that I
did it a few times, and then I was like, okay, I got away with it, and now we're done. Like that was sort of what happened.
Yeah,
and
no.
They would call me a loser. Oh, how dare you? They start. Jews are so good at gaslighting, manipulating. Religious Jews to each other. And man, they killed me so hard about it.
I think our older brother might have held on to one or two things for somebody, but he officially said he doesn't. So I believed him, so I didn't do it. But I'm glad I didn't because a lot of guys in my class asked to like put something on. Oh, it's not even a big deal. It's just. I said once I say yes to you, everyone's gonna ask. So not true.
No, you're right.
But then somebody in the other room was like, "Oh yeah, can you do it for me too?" I'm like, "That's exactly what I'm talking about."
And you're like, "Don't tell anybody." And they're like, "Okay." And then he flexes it to his flexes a little square thing, MP3 to the other kids.
So I never did it. Other people in the community did do it. Like people who were in town who went to the school did do it, but I don't want to take responsibility. It's not my job. Like you want to hide something and have it risk it get have it get confiscated, then do that. I'm not going to be whatever. I don't have the patience and I don't care. Like I'm not going to do that for you.
But let's answer some questions from the Discord because Yitch said, "Oh, we can't go too long this week for whatever dumb reasons." I'm very busy too. I give you my time. I give you an hour. This guy's like, "Oh, let's have it less than an hour." So here we go, and I have to edit out some crap because this guy's Wi-Fi sucks. Yeah. So this guy says, "What the?"
He said, "What the?"
Huh? No, he didn't. No, he didn't say that. This guy says. Oh, by the way, join the Discord to ask these questions on the link in the description. Do you encounter anti-Semitic people often?
No.
Oh,
fun fact. I'm not.
A lot, but
you may ask your questions on the Discord, but I am not allowed on apparently.
Yitz is not allowed on the Discord. They know that already. Yeah, you're not allowed on the Discord because it's not kosher, and we got to keep you safe. What? Okay. There's a lot of what does, okay? What is the scariest situation you've been in? That's very broad. Scariest. You ever got in like a...
Yes.
Yeah? Oh. What happened?
Whenever you ask me these questions, I always like, I know I have something, but this finally came to me. This one came right away. My first time traveling by myself to New York, my parents said right away, when you land, go to the taxi line. It's right there.
I know what you're going to say.
Go to the taxi line. It's right there. I said, oh, okay, right when I land, there's going to be a guy, like, whatever, for the taxi. I land, I go to those double doors, right, leading JFK, and some guy's like, taxi, come on, we have a taxi, come on, come, taxi. I'm like, oh, this is the guy my parents were talking about. I get in some random guy's car. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a taxi. I'm, like, shoved in with, like, 5 other people into, like, a random minivan in, like, the JFK parking lot. It takes me, like, 20 minutes to walk there. And then I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I'm like, you taxi? He goes, we're a taxi. Don't worry about it. And I was like low key, like freaking out. He drives me through like Harlem, the Bronx. Harlem is in New York. Sorry, I'm like okay. I'm driving through all these sketchy areas. We get out of one place. Some guy gets out. He charges him like way too much money because that's how they do it. And the guy starts yelling. He goes, I'm not paying that. You think you're gonna get that out of me? They start yelling at each other. And like this is like in like a not good neighborhood. I was like. I called like my parents. I'm like, hey, like I'm in like a taxi. I was like, where are you? You were like, what? I'm like, let's not yell because I'm still in the taxi. So I'm just letting you know that I'm just going to stay on the line because I'm in this neighborhood and these guys are yelling. And then eventually they settled. And then, whatever, we made our way through New York. And eventually I got dropped off last.
Oh, there you go.
Charged me $60, which is $20 more than it should have been. And it took me like 2 hours to get
Minus
to
inflation, so it would have been more like 20, 30, you know?
Yeah.
So
And,
that was only $80.
I low-key was like extremely scared.
Yeah, you went in a freaking straight. Honestly, you're an idiot. How old were you?
I don't know, 13, 14.
What are you talking about now? That's just.
I had no idea. So my parents, they
You
yelled
don't
at me.
know what a yellow taxi.
No, but they said when I landed it's going to be taxi. They told me that the guy's going to say, and the guy said taxi right when I landed. And then, like, when I went again, I was like, oh, there's a stand where they have them lined up.
The thing is, though, I did have you guys, older brothers, to, like, because I remember one time we were there with the older brother, and he was like, because someone asked him, taxi, and he's like, nah, we're good. And then he said, that's what you tell them. You say, and I'm like,
yeah, because of me, because I got stuck in some stranger's car. Our parents
You're
yelled
so
at me.
lucky. You deserve it.
They yelled at me so hard for like an hour. It's like on my phone, it's like, what do you think you were doing, an idiot? Like you could have gotten killed. I'm like, I know. It's a good thing I'm alive. Why don't we be thankful that I'm alive?
Yeah. Did you get candy?
No.
Would have been worth it.
He gave me a receipt though. I'm like, Mom, give me a receipt.
Oh,
It's your
this
legit
guy's,
business.
Yeah. You know those Hasidic guys that they call like often in Jewish communities, people come over to you ask for charity for certain organizations, and usually it's you just give them some cash, some money. But these guys have evolved, and now they have like credit card scanners. And with like receipts for your things. And I remember I was with one of our cousins, and he gave charity to someone, and he's like, "Yo, can I have the receipt from your scanner because I want to make sure I didn't accidentally type an extra zero."
That's
so
hilarious.
then the guy's like, "Yeah, sure." He like doesn't know English. They're speaking half Yiddish to each other, and the receipt doesn't come out. He's like, "Oh, I ran out of receipt film." So we go to his back closet to get receipt film, and there's no more receipt film, and he just doesn't know if it got charged. But
that's hilarious. But yeah, when the person got out and started fighting with the main driver, that's when I was like, oh my god,
this is crazy.
This is dangerous.
I would do a couple more. What is your opinion on the online drama that is happening recently? This guy, he didn't specify. He just said, "What's your opinion on the online drama that's happening?"
It's crazy, that online drama stuff.
Yeah, I can't believe Kendrick and Drake. Yeah, you know what's going on?
Well, I mean, they've been like rapping back and forth. I haven't been following even more.
Wow.
Apparently everyone hates Drake now.
Yeah, apparently Drake did some sus stuff, and Kendrick was calling him out for it. And he called him.
I don't think that's the drama. They
No.
would have said music drama.
No, it's music drama, but like he roasted him back with that. Whatever, it's unimportant. It's boring.
Any other drama going on online? Honestly, I haven't heard any. The only drama.
Gen Z's trying to cancel Eminem. Yeah, have you seen that?
Oh, I think I saw that.
Eminem made like this is old news already, but Eminem made like a rap with like Slim Shady's back, and all the millennials are like, "Oh, Gen Z's gonna try to cancel Eminem again," and then the entire Gen Z's like, "We're not canceling Eminem. Like we know who Eminem is," and it's like this one-sided argument. And then there's.
What other drama could there be? I mean, there's politics, but
that's dumb. And then one more thing. This actually, I've been posting more TikToks again, and we've answered this before, but it's more about mission. It was, do you get annoyed when Christians try to convert you on the street or a missionary? Which we had a podcast on. So I guess
yes, we did. We did have a full podcast on it when they tried to convert me on a plane.
Segue. That's the segue. Click right here to watch that podcast. Oh my gosh. That's a segue. That's amazing. Anyways, appreciate you all for watching.
Wait.
What?
Do I get annoyed? Do put it there, but do I get annoyed very quickly?
No, the whole thing is that it said they don't know the answer until they click on the thing. I thought.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, you fool.
It's still floating here.
Yeah, it's still floating there. I could float there for a very long time. So make sure to download on Spotify and watch all of the other amazing episodes where like this one right here. And literally smash like, subscribe. God bless.